good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are watching from. I want to welcome you back to the channel, where we dive deep into some of the most shocking and tragic true crime cases from around the world. Today, we're going to explore a story that is as chilling as it is heartbreaking, the mysterious disappearance and murder of Isabella Hellman. Before we begin, I want you to take a moment and think about the people you love most in this world. Imagine them stepping into what should have been a dream vacation, a celebration of life and love, and never returning. If that thought touches you, I want you to type Amen in the comments and pray for Isabella's soul. Also, let me know where you're watching from. I want to see how far her story has reached today. Isabella Hellman was only 41 years old. She was a mother to a beautiful 10-month-old daughter, Amelia, and the pride of her close-knit family. She had built a life many could only dream of, thriving in her career, living in a lovely condominium in West Delray Beach, Florida, and surrounded by people who loved her deeply. But even in her seemingly perfect life, danger was silently waiting, creeping closer with every decision. What started as a dream honeymoon in the Caribbean would quickly spiral into a nightmare that shocked 2 continents. A journey meant for love and connection would end in mystery, betrayal, and tragedy. Today, we'll uncover how a woman with so much to live for ended up lost at sea, and why one man's dark intentions changed the course of her life forever. But before we dive into the events that led to that fateful night, let's take a closer look at the life Isabella built, because understanding her world is the only way to truly grasp the horror of what came next. Isabella Hellman's life in Delray Beach, Florida, was the product of years of determination, hard work, and a relentless pursuit of the American dream. Born in Colombia to Eduardo Rodriguez and Amparo Alvarez, Isabella had come to the United States with a vision to carve out a life of opportunity not just for herself, but for the family she hoped to create. By 2017, she had done exactly that. Isabella was a vibrant, warm, and outgoing real estate agent at Signature Real Estate. Her colleagues spoke highly of her charm and professionalism, saying she had a gift for connecting with people that made her clients feel seen and heard. Her condominium on Anada Drive in West Delray Beach was a reflection of her success, cozy, elegant, and filled with the little touches that made it feel like home. But more than property, business, or possessions, Isabella's heart belonged to her daughter Amelia. Her family was her anchor. Eduardo and Amparo lived nearby, along with Isabella's 3 sisters, Diana, Elizabeth, and Adriana. The family maintained their Colombian traditions, sharing frequent meals, celebrations, and moments of joy. Isabella's mother, Amparo, especially, played an integral role in caring for Amelia, giving Isabella the peace of mind to focus on her career. Yet, even in a life that seemed perfect, small cracks began to show. Stress from work, financial pressures, and the challenges of being a working mother sometimes cast shadows over the sunshine of her days. It was a reminder that even a life filled with love and happiness can hide dangerous secrets beneath the surface. These subtleties, seemingly minor at the time, would set the stage for the heartbreak to come. Isabella's story was not just one of ambition or motherhood. It was a story of trust, betrayal, and the hidden dangers that can lurk behind the faces of those we love. In 2014, Isabella's life took an unexpected turn when she met Louis Richard Bennett online. At 42 years old, Bennett was everything Isabella was not: worldly, adventurous, and constantly seeking the thrill of the next challenge. An experienced sailor, he had traveled across oceans, earned his Royal Yachting Association Coastal Skipper certification, and held dual citizenship in Australia and the United Kingdom. To Isabella, he seemed exciting, mysterious, and full of promise. Their connection was instant. They shared stories, dreams, and a vision of a future together. And despite their differences, the attraction was undeniable. Isabella, grounded and devoted to family, found herself drawn to Bennett's adventurous spirit, while he was captivated by her warmth, ambition, and the light she brought into every room. By July 2016, their relationship had moved quickly, and Amelia was born, a moment of joy that should have strengthened their bond. By February 2017, they were married in a quiet, intimate ceremony. From the outside, it seemed like a perfect match. A worldly, adventurous man and a successful, loving mother ready to start their life together. But beneath the surface, the first warning signs of trouble had already begun to appear. Arguments about finances, conflicting visions for the future, and disagreements about where to raise Amelia hinted at cracks in their relationship. Heated text messages revealed the tension. Isabella vented her frustration, expressing exhaustion and fear of being misunderstood. It seemed like a perfect couple. But appearances can be dangerously deceiving. And as the story would soon reveal, the dangers Isabella didn't see coming were far closer than she ever imagined. By April 29, 2017, Isabella was ready for what she hoped would be a chance to reconnect with Lewis and leave their troubles behind, if only for a while. They flew to St. Martin, a tropical paradise in the Caribbean, their hearts filled with anticipation. Waiting for them was Bennett's 37-foot catamaran, the Surf Into Summer, a sleek vessel designed for adventure and freedom. As they set sail, the turquoise water sparkled under the Caribbean sun, and the warm breeze carried a sense of promise. Their route would take them to Puerto Rico, then Cuba, before returning to Key West, Florida. For Isabella, this should have been the perfect escape, a honeymoon to forget the world and embrace love. She called her sister Diana frequently during the early days, sharing the excitement and minor frustrations of life at sea. But something was different this time. Isabella's personal phone had broken early in the trip, leaving them dependent on Bennett's communication equipment. And even as she laughed and joked with her sister, there was an unspoken tension in her voice, a subtle unease she couldn't quite shake. Little did Isabella know, danger was already beginning to stir. Bennett had not activated the satellite phone or registered his personal locator beacon until the final, most treacherous leg of their journey. Whether it was oversight or intention, these delays would soon play a chilling role in what was about to happen. As the sun set over the horizon, Isabella stood on the deck, looking out at the endless expanse of ocean. She couldn't have imagined that in just a few days, this serene view would become the backdrop for her greatest nightmare. Everything changed on the evening of May 14, 2017. The couple had left Havana, Cuba, bound for the final stretch back to Florida. At 8:25 p.m., Isabella made what would become her last call to her sister Diana via satellite phone. "I'll see you tomorrow," she said, her voice full of hope. But when the night fell, tragedy struck. According to Bennett, Isabella had been asked to take the helm for the night while he rested below deck. The accident, he claimed, occurred in the early hours, when crashing waves and loose rigging supposedly threw Isabella overboard. But the story quickly began to unravel. Investigators later learned Bennett did not call out for her, did not deploy parachute flares, and failed to use the catamaran or dinghy to search for her. Instead, he spent nearly 45 minutes securing a life raft, along with personal belongings, provisions, and, shockingly, 9 plastic tubes containing 225 stolen silver coins valued at $4,200 before abandoning the vessel. Bennett's calmness and lack of urgency immediately raised red flags with the Coast Guard and FBI. It was behavior no one would expect from a husband who had just lost his wife at sea. How could someone remain so composed after such a tragedy? That question would haunt investigators and family members for months to come. And as the first search efforts began, little did anyone know, the truth behind Isabella's disappearance was far darker than anyone could have imagined. The investigation into Isabella's disappearance revealed the first shocking twist. Forensic experts examining the catamaran discovered evidence that contradicted Bennett's story. Holes in the hull, 2 open underwater escape hatches, and signs of deliberate flooding suggested that the vessel had been intentionally sabotaged from within. An associate professor of nautical architecture and ocean engineering at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy analyzed the damage. His conclusion was clear: the boat sinking was no accident. The positioning of the holes and open hatches was inconsistent with an accidental collision or storm damage. It defied all principles of safe seamanship. Investigators began to see a chilling pattern: Isabella's death was not the result of misfortune. Someone had planned, prepared, and executed an act that would leave her trapped in the water, alone and vulnerable. Suspense built as the team dug deeper. Questions arose. Why had Bennett prioritized securing a life raft and stolen coins instead of searching for his wife? Was this the work of a cold, calculating murderer, or was there more yet to uncover? What investigators would find next would reveal a darker secret, a motive so sinister it would shake everyone who had ever trusted Louis Bennett. The search for Isabella Hellman quickly escalated into one of the most extensive operations the U.S. Coast Guard had ever conducted in the Caribbean. From May 15 to the 18th, 2017, search teams scoured over 4,980 square nautical miles, using helicopters, cutters, and aircraft, all in the hope of finding a mother who had vanished in the open ocean. Meanwhile, the FBI Miami field office joined the investigation, coordinating with the Coast Guard to analyze satellite logs, the catamaran's last known coordinates, and every communication Isabella had attempted with her family. It was during this meticulous investigation that a disturbing detail came to light: Louis Bennett had a history of theft. Investigators uncovered evidence linking Bennett to a previous heist aboard a yacht in St. Martin. He had stolen gold and silver coins and then filed a false police report claiming the yacht had been burglarized. The significance of this discovery was immediate. If Bennett was willing to steal on the high seas before, could he have been capable of something far more sinister now? As investigators pieced together timelines, satellite data, and witness statements, the picture that emerged was chilling. Bennett had not just acted recklessly. He had meticulously prioritized his own survival and personal gain over the life of his wife. The more they uncovered, the more sinister Bennett's plan appeared. Then came the second twist, one that changed the course of the investigation entirely. During an FBI search of the couple's Delray Beach condominium, agents discovered 162 gold coins, stolen during Bennett's previous yacht heist. This revealed a pattern of deception and a startling motive. Bennett was willing to lie, steal, and manipulate to serve his own desires. Investigators began to connect the dots. Eliminating Isabella would not only end the marital conflicts that had plagued them for months, but it would also give Bennett sole control over Amelia and her mother's estate. The horrifying realization hit Isabella's family like a thunderclap. The man they had trusted had not just lost his wife by accident, he had deliberately orchestrated her death. The emotional tension ran high as Isabella's family tried to come to terms with the betrayal. Every detail of Bennett's life, every lie he had spun, painted a portrait of a man capable of unimaginable cruelty. Was Isabella's fate sealed from the moment she stepped aboard the catamaran? And could anyone stop the chain of events he had set in motion? Bennett's arrest sent shockwaves through both the US and the UK. Initially charged with transporting stolen goods, his case quickly escalated to second-degree murder as the FBI built a mountain of evidence. The legal process was grueling, not only for Bennett but for Isabella's family, who watched the man who had destroyed their daughter's life navigate courtrooms with an unsettling calm. Throughout the trial, every stolen coin, every forensic finding on the catamaran, and every witness statement became ammunition in the pursuit of justice. Isabella's family struggled to balance their grief with the fight for Amelia, who had been taken by Bennett to the United Kingdom. In the courtroom, emotions ran high. Elizabeth, Diana, and Amparo confronted Bennett, demanding answers that he refused to give. But the court's decisions, though they provided some closure, could never fully restore what was lost. Even with justice served, the haunting questions about Isabella's final moments lingered, moments that no trial could ever fully uncover. Today, Isabella Hellman is remembered not for the tragedy that ended her life, but for the joy, love, and devotion she brought to those around her. Her daughter, Amelia, now grows up surrounded by the love of two families, carrying forward the legacy of a mother who had fought tirelessly for her dreams and family. As we reflect on her story, I want you to consider something. Could you have sensed the danger? How far would you go to protect the ones you love? Isabella's story is a stark reminder of how appearances can deceive, how trust can be shattered, and how fragile life truly is. If her story moved you, take a moment to pray for Isabella and type Amen in the comments. Share your thoughts on the case, and let me know where you're watching from. I love seeing this story reach hearts around the world. Don't forget to subscribe, because there are many more cases like this one, filled with suspense, mystery, and the fight for justice. Some stories leave questions that even time cannot answer. Isabella Hellman's life may have ended too soon, but her courage, love, and legacy live on. Make sure you don't miss the next story, because the truth often hides in the shadows, and sometimes, the shadows are closer than we ever imagined.